What's up everyone? How's it going today? Hope you're all having a good one. As you can see, I am back in the garage, which means we're doing another product installation on the Jeep. The product that we're going to be installing on today's video is the Mictuning C2 RGB+IC LED rock lights. Mictuning is probably not one of the most well-known brands out there, but they've actually been around for over 6 years and they have a wide variety of Jeep and off-road parts available on their website. If you're unfamiliar with this brand, I highly recommend that you go check out that website so that you can see all the products they have available, because a lot of the products they sell are priced really well. In particular, this kit right here is priced between $139.99 to $249.99, depending on the size of the kit you go with. This kit comes in 6 different sizes. First, you have an 8-pod pack, then you have a 10-pod, a 12-pod, a 16-pod, a 20-pod, and a 24-pod. And with this kit, you also have the ability to purchase additional lights to add to any existing kit you may have, but only up to 24 pods. The kit that I'm going to be installing today is the 12-pod pack, and this kit goes for $199.99. One of the things I noticed about Mictuning is that they're continuously evolving the products they have to offer to make them better and better. In particular, this kit right here is one of their newer generation rock light kits, so I'm super excited to get it installed and test it out with you. As usual, once we have this kit installed, we will go through all its features and functionality, but some of the things I want to mention now are the fact that this uses RGB LED lights, which gives you the ability to customize the color of the light you are showing by using the Bluetooth wireless app. And with that Bluetooth wireless app, you also have the ability to select different light settings. So you can select whether you want the lights to pulsate, you want them to strobe or flash, and you also have Chase Light feature. Chase Light feature is one of the newer features that a lot of these new rock light kits are coming out with, and I'm super excited to see what that's all about. And some of the other specs that this has to offer is that it's waterproof, and of course it needs to be because it does get installed on the bottom of your Jeep and it's exposed to all the elements. And then of course it is a super bright LEDs with 160-degree field of light projection. Basically, this is a very comparable kit to a lot of the other brands in the market. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna go ahead and unbox this kit to see what's available in it. Then we're gonna go ahead and install it to show you the steps it takes to complete that installation. Then we'll go through all its features and functionalities. And then I'll wrap up this video by giving you my overall thoughts and opinions about this product. So let's go ahead and unbox this to see what comes in this kit. This is everything that was included in the kit. And I have to say, everything was really nicely packaged into the box to ensure it didn't get damaged during shipping. For the switch pods themselves, these are some impressive units. These look like they use a custom molded heavy-duty plastic exterior shell with a 2-part assembly. I'm assuming there's some type of rubber gasket in behind this plate that prevents any water from getting into the unit. On the front, it has a nice curved lens with 6 LEDs to give you that super bright effect with 160 degrees field of projection. These units have 2 cords coming out of either end of them. One cord has a male connection on it and the other cord has a female connection. They are designed this way because they are actually intended to be chained together. So what that means is that when we go to assemble these or install them, there's actually gonna be a chain of 6 LEDs for one side of the vehicle and 6 LED pods for the other side. The kit also includes some extension cords for any longer gaps that you may need to go across that are longer than the cords that come with the lights. Then we have our wiring harness right here, which includes a switch. It looks like it has a fuse on it and connections for the batteries. Not sure how much of that we're actually gonna use today, because I know for a fact I'm not gonna be using this switch, because what I'm gonna do is wire these up to my XK Glow switch panel. Then we have our Bluetooth module right here, which has 2 pod-like connections on each side. And again, one is designed for the passenger side and one is designed for the driver's side. Then we have our user manual. This is a generic manual, so it'll probably have some good information, but probably not all the information. Then we have 2 Mictuning stickers, which are really big stickers. Then we have some mounting pads. These are pretty much rubber pads that I guess are designed for mounting the
pod 2 and then mounting it too. I'm assuming it just helps with some insulation. They have some flat ones here, and then they have some curved ones. I'm not sure if I'm actually gonna end up using these or not, just because they're pretty bulky. The last thing that is included is a bag of hardware to mount the pod lights in location. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take a look at the installation to see what the first step is to get these installed. The first step of the installation is to install 2 light pods in the front wheel well. What we need to do first is decide where we're gonna mount them. So I think the best location for the back one is probably right about here. And then for the front one is probably gonna be around here. To secure these in place, what we're gonna end up using is the provided hardware, which is a nut and bolt, to secure it to the inner liner. Because we have the stock factory plastic liner, what we can do is we can simply drill a hole for these bolts, or we can just simply punch a hole that's big enough for the bolts to go through. Either option will work. It's really up to you. The next thing we need to do is, because this light pod has 2 cords coming out of the outside, and we don't really want cords just taped to the inside of the liner, we actually have to make some holes for these cords to go through. Because the cords have these large connections on the end, you technically need to make the hole this big to fit it through. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually make the hole the size of the cord, and then I'm gonna add some slits on the hole to give it enough ability to flex to allow this plug to go through. This should give a nice clean look. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and get that installed and show you guys how it goes. We'll get both of these mounted. We also might need to pull down this fender to get in behind it so that we can run and connect the cords. So let's go ahead and see how that goes. So before I reinstall the fender, I wanted to show you guys something I did off camera. The reason I did it off camera is because it's a little bit of a tedious job and it's really hard to film. What it was I ran 2 of the extension cord wires through the firewall. The reason I did this is because I wanted to install the Bluetooth module on the inside of the cab to keep it well protected and away from any elements and any wanted heat. This is not required. This is just something I did, and I did it just so that it would last a little longer. But technically what you can do is you can simply just install it in the engine bay in a nice safe spot. Because I did this, one other wire I had to run through the firewall was the wiring harness for the system to give it power. So I did also have to run that through the wall. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and clean this all up, put all the wires where they need to be, put the fender back on, and then we'll move on to the next step, which is to install 2 more of the pod lights under the rock rails.
For the two lights under the rock rails, the first one, we've already got it connected to see where it lands. It's gonna go right here, and we're gonna get clever with some zip ties to hold it in place. The next one is gonna go a little further down, and it's gonna go right about here. This one, there are no holes around it, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to mount it. I think I'm gonna use some double-sided tape. I wanna avoid any self-tapping screws. So if the double-sided tape doesn't work, I'll have to figure out something, but I just don't wanna drill any holes into the body. So let's go ahead and get both of those installed, and then we'll move on to the next part. The last two pod lights that we have to install for the passenger side are for the back wheel well. The first one is gonna go right about here. The second one is gonna go over here. And the installation process is going to be same as the front fender. All we're gonna do is punch our holes, run our hardware through to secure it in place, punch the holes for the wires, run those up and in behind the liner, and then connect everything up. Hopefully I don't need to remove this fender, as I never have, and I don't know exactly how to do it, but we'll have to see as it goes. And if I do end up doing it, I'll show you guys exactly how to do it. So let's go ahead and get the two lights installed. So it is confirmed that we are going to have to remove this fender to secure the lights in place, and that's just because there's no way to access behind to put the bolts on. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and undo these 3 Christmas tree plugs. Then once those are removed, we're then just going to start pulling on the fender, and it should start to come away from the body. It's going to sound like you're breaking it, but that's a normal thing. It's not, you're not breaking it, it's just the clips are really tight and they're starting to release. You might break a few clips, but those can easily be replaced if needed. So let's go ahead, get this fender off. We'll secure the lights in place, connect all the wires, and then put it back together. So let's go ahead and do that. before I finish putting this fender on, I need to mention one more step that's pretty important. And that is for the last plug in the entire chain of pods, you need to make sure to cap the end. And what I didn't mention when doing the unboxing is there's actually two little plugs provided that were actually attached to a couple of the pods. So what you need to do is pull that off of those pods and then put it on to the last plug to make sure it's capped and no moisture can get into it. So let's just put this on. So now we can go back and put this fender back on. So let's go ahead and do that. So guys, after we reinstalled that rear fender, we actually went ahead and repeated the entire process on the other side of the Jeep to install the 6 pods that go on the driver's side. The only extra thing we had to do was run the extension wire up and over the engine to that first pod in the front fender. But besides that, everything else was the exact same. Now that we've got all 12 pods installed on the Jeep, the next part we gotta do is simply wire this unit up. So first, what we're gonna have to do is install the Bluetooth module inside the cab, which is simply going to be plugging up 3 wires. So that's really easy to do. The next thing we're gonna have to do is run the power wire. So because we are using our own switch panel, we actually need to remove this switch that it comes with. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna unplug all the wires, and then we're gonna put the blue and the yellow one together and leave the red one sitting by itself. Once we do that, it should be all wired up and we won't need this switch to operate the system. After we've done that, we're simply gonna take the power and the ground and we're gonna run it into our XK Glow command box and put it into one of the channels, and then we'll be able to fire it up to see if we did everything right. So let's go ahead and do those 2 steps and then see if it works. Okay, so we've got the power connected. Let's now turn it on and see if we've got it working. So it looks like it is working. We've got the back wheel all going. We've got these lights under here going as well, and the front wheels as well. So it looks like we are all good to go. So what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna take a couple days to learn this system a little bit more, and then I'll come back to you guys to show you guys its features and functionality so that I have a good understanding before I'm giving you that information. So I'll see you guys in a couple days. And we're back. It's been about a week to a week and a half since we installed the rock lights, and I've had a good amount of time to test them out and figure out how they work so that I can show you guys what they can do and give my overall thoughts and opinions. In particular, I had the opportunity to use them at the Bantam Jeep Festival during the Light Bar and Brew event. This is basically a light competition where you display all the lights you have on your Jeep, you get judged, and while they're judging you, you get to enjoy some craft beers. What we're gonna do is we're gonna dive straight into the features, and the first feature is how to turn them on. All you have to do is simply turn the switch to the on position. This can be done by either using this switch that they provided, or similar to what I did, you can just turn them on using your switch panel. Once the lights are turned on, the lights will resume whatever light feature, pattern, or color they were previously set on when they were turned off. So if you had them in a blue and white strobe effect, they will actually turn right back on to those. If you had them in a solid blue color, they will turn straight to that. Because this system uses RGB LED lights, the system allows you to customize what color you want the lights to display. This can be done using the app and the color wheel. All you have to do is select the color you want and the lights will turn on to that color. In this section, you also have the ability to adjust the brightness of that light, as well as the speed of the flash. For this, if the bar is all the way up, the light will actually remain solid. If you move it down a little bit, it will start to flash at a fast rate of speed. If you move it all the way to the other end, it will flash at a slower rate of speed. The system also gives you the ability to have the system switch colors when it flashes. So that can be done by selecting one of the presets below, or you can customize and make your own preset and select which colors you want the system to flash back. Using this feature, you also can adjust the speed at which it flashes at using the exact same bar. The last feature that's available on this page is the music mode, which is basically where when you have it engaged, the app will use your phone's microphone to detect noise and change the lights based on the noise it's hearing. So if you're playing music, the lights will actually flash based on that music. If you're speaking into the microphone, it will simply change based on what you're saying. Pretty cool feature. Don't know if I'll be using it much, but there might be some people that are interested in trying this out. The next section that's available in the app is the mode section. In this section, there's actually a bunch of preset light patterns available for you to choose from. There's a total of 76 options, and each option uses a different combination of colored lights, as well as a different type of transition mode. If you can't find a preset that you like, or you have a custom color that you're using on a Jeep and none of the presets have that color, you actually have the ability to build your own mode. This can be done by building your own color pattern, which is where you would select the colors you want it to transition between. Then you can select which transition pattern you want it to be. And then you can change the direction of that pattern, whether you want it forward, backwards, or whether you want it to cycle. And similar to the color section, you also have the ability to adjust the speed at which the transition occurs. One more feature that's built into this app is you also have the ability to adjust the streamer length. This is basically the length at which a light is engaged. So if you're using a chase effect, when it turns on a light, this will determine how long that light stays on before it transitions to the next one. The speed controls how fast it transitions. So when you're using the speed control and the streamer length effect, those two kind of work together. So if you play with them a little bit, you'll be able to figure out the pattern that works for you. As you can see, this system is very customizable and it offers a wide variety of unique features and unique builds. What we're going to do is we're actually going to do a little montage here where we'll go through all the presets so you can see what's already built into the app. Now that you've seen how this system works and you've seen how to install it, I'm going to share with you guys my overall thoughts and opinions. For this, I have some pros and some cons. The first pro that I have is in regards to its ease of installation. This kit was super easy to install and very straightforward. To me, I feel like it was almost a plug and play installation. The hardest part, or the challenges for the installation, were figuring out how to mount the lights in the wheel well and on the frame, and running the wires and the cords through the firewall. Besides those two challenges, I feel like anybody could install this on their own with some basic tools. The next pro that I have has to do with its price. What I feel is Mictuning is pricing these perfectly. They are probably about $100 to $200 cheaper than some of the other well-known brands, but I think these lights have a lot built into them, so the value that they offer is amazing. So if you are on a budget and looking for some lights, then I highly recommend that you check out the Mictuning lights because they're priced really well for what they offer. The first two cons that I have actually have to do with the light itself. What I don't like is the fact that the light has two wires coming out of the side, because what that means is when you are mounting the lights in the wheel wells, you actually have to drill two holes to hold the light in place, and then two more holes to run the cords to get a nice clean look. I'm not sure why they didn't just put the two wires coming out the back of the light, because that would have meant that all you would have had to do is drill one central hole behind the light to run the cords through to give a nice clean look. Yes, this would have been an issue when you go to mount them on the frame, but in that case, you would have actually been able to use the rubber mount bracket bump stops that they provided and run the cords through that. So they already provided this. I'm not sure why they didn't design the lights in that way. The next issue that I have actually has to do with the white light. And it might be because these are RGB LED lights and they can't get the perfect white, but the white that you get seems to be a little bit bluish purple and doesn't seem to be a true white. So I really would have liked that this system had a more of a true white, especially if you're using a white Jeep. You would love for the white to be white. The next two cons that I have actually have to do with the app. So one thing I noticed is when you're doing the color selecting, the app is a little bit finicky. It takes a little bit of time to get the right color, especially for myself who was trying to get that neon yellow. I kept jumping between straight yellow or straight green. I couldn't get it in the middle. It was just a little bit finicky. I would have rathered maybe there not be such a divide from the color. Maybe it'd be more of a fade, or give you a bar, which gives you the ability to scroll and adjust as well. It just could have been a little bit better. Eventually I did get the color I want, but I would have liked it just to have been a little bit easier. The next little con that I have is the fact that there are 76 presets. Why is there so many? It takes forever just to scroll through them all to figure out which one you want. And the reason that a lot of these exist is because there pretty much is two of each colorway and they're just forward or reverse. So what they could have done is they could have just done one preset and then did like a reverse or a forward button that you would just trigger to change the direction that that sequence would run. Again, both those issues, not major issues, more just little things. As you can see, the cons that I have are very, very minor. What makes this a good product, in my opinion, and the main reason I would recommend this, is its price point. Because this is so much cheaper than some of the well-known brands out there, I feel like this is the product that we should be going with, because this kit has pretty much some of the same features that those more expensive items or more expensive kits would have, but at such a lower price. Yes, some of the more expensive ones might have better high quality LED lights. It might be a little bit brighter, but to be honest, from what I have noticed, these are definitely acceptable. As you can see, you can kind of see them in the day, but at night they are perfect. They are definitely bright enough. The only thing I would change on my installation is where to install them. As you can see, I kind of have them facing a little bit out, and that makes them very visible. I would rather put them more up into the fender so that they're pointing down and you can't see them. This might be something I'm going to be changing in the near future. Possibly it'll be happening when I change my inner plastic wheel well lining to aluminum, but we'll have to stay tuned to see if that actually happens. Overall, guys, really happy about this product and do recommend it. As usual, I'll put a link below if you want to go check it out for yourself. Before I wrap this video up, I do want to thank Mictuning for sending me this product and giving me the opportunity to create this video to show you guys what their kit can do and how to install it. Mictuning has also offered a discount code for all of my viewers. The code is EvolvedJeepin, and you can use it on their website to save yourself 12% on your order. As usual, guys, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to post them below and I'll do the best to answer them. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And guys, please keep evolving, and we'll see you guys on the next video.